Hello beautiful children, it's so lovely to see you again, and I hope you're all doing really well and enjoying school and you had a beautiful Sukkot. I was very much hoping to maybe see you Shabbat Bereshit, but you've got the amazing Rabbi Leitner and Brandon and Rabbi Lawrence and amazing people who I think are going to take very good care of you if you choose and book to come to the shul. So, I'm going to keep you company here at home. So for those of you who can't book and for those of you who can't go, at least we'll be able to do our video and our Parasha together. And I very much hope to do that for Bereshit and Noach and Lech Lecha, so that we've got all the fabulous Parasha and we can learn it together. And if you do go to shul and you're lucky enough to go to shul, and that's amazing, then keep calm and keep your distance, okay children, so that everybody is as risk-free as possible. This week's Parasha is amazing. It's Bereshit, it's the beginning, it's the first Parasha in the book of Bereshit. Now, what I always tell the children is there are 5 books of Moses, 5 books of the Torah, and you should know, and it's so cool, that the first Parasha of the book has the same name as the book. So this Parasha is called Bereshit, and it's the first Parasha of the first book of the Torah. So what is the first book of the Torah called? Can you think? Can you think? It's not called Scooby-Doo, and it's not called Spaghetti Bolognese, it's called Bereshit, because the first Parasha, the first Sedra, the first part of the book has the same name as the book itself. So Bereshit, first Parasha, will have the same name as the book, Bereshit, the first book of the Torah. Then we've got Shemot, which will have the same name as the second book of the Torah, Shemot. Then we've got Vayikra, which will have the same name as the third book of the Torah, Vayikra. Then we'll have Bamidbar, which will have the same name as the fourth book of the Torah, Bamidbar. And then we'll have Devarim, which will have the fifth name of the fifth book of the Torah, Fandabidozi. Do you remember the books of the Torah? Bereshit, Shemot, Vayikra, Bamidbar, Devarim. Which one are we on now? Shout it out to me. Bereshit, first Parasha of the first book of the Torah. Yabba dabba doo, so exciting. So, I don't know if some of you have ever lived in a home where mummy and daddy have decided that they want to make the home look nicer. It's called a refurbishment. Making the house or the home look nicer. Maybe you've got to dig up some floors, maybe you've got to repaint the walls, maybe you've got to bash things out and make it bigger. And mummies and daddies usually have to ask somebody else to help. Sometimes mummies and daddies even have to call somebody called an architect. Somebody who makes loads of plans and shows you, look, you can use this space to do that. Look, if I take that wall down, you'll have a bigger bedroom for one of your children. What's so exciting and amazing? And you can have a bathroom here and you can have a shower room there. Some people understand that, so that's very exciting. What's that got to do with this week's Parasha? Well, in this week's Parasha, we actually learn in this week's Parasha that the world was being created. That's a totally new thing that had never happened before, the world. And who was the architect? Who had the plans for the world? Who decided what was going to happen on what day? Does anybody know the answer? Hashem. Hashem is the architect. Hashem was the architect of the world. And Hashem decided exactly how our beautiful world with everything in it was going to look and be created. So let's see if we can do some laminates and enjoy that together, shall we? Okay. So, first laminate. Can you see? The first laminate. SPS, some people say, aka, also known as the Midrash. It was the 25th day of Elul. And Hashem said, let there be light. And on the first day of Hashem's creation, he created light. Look, I just put the light off and I just put it on again. It was as easy for Hashem to do it as that. It's not very easy to create light. It's very difficult to create it, but Hashem did it. See, on the first day, Hashem created the light. Wow, first day. Let's see what happened on the second day. Can you see that? The second day? So on the second day, heaven and earth are separated. Can you see you've got that bit at the bottom and that bit at the top? Heaven and earth are separated. But there's a problem. The problem with the earth is that there's water all over the place. Oh my goodness, I've got water in the middle. On the second day of Hashem's creation, he created heaven and earth, but with the water all over the place. So what happened on the third day of creation? Well, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? The third day of creation. On the third day of Hashem's creation, the waters separate, 3 syllables, into oceans. I can think there's an ocean. And into seas, maybe you can imagine a sea, river, lakes, streams, brooks. Think of all the words that you can think of for where water goes. And the earth sprouts grass, there we go, and trees, there we go. And the Garden of Eden is created. Remember that garden? I'm going to ask you about that garden later. Somebody gets to be in the garden and somebody gets to be naughty in the garden and somebody gets to be taken away from the garden. Goodness, punishment already in the first Parasha. Okay, so we did the third day. What about the fourth day? Well, look at that, the fourth day. On the fourth day of Hashem's beautiful, wonderful, amazing creation, Hashem created the sun, Hashem created the moon, and Hashem created the planets and the stars. Do you know the names of all the planets? Oh, shout them all out. I don't know all their names. I know some of their names, Jupiter, Mars, Saturn. They're very, very complicated. Maybe you're learning about them, all the names of the planets and the stars in the sky. On the fourth day of Hashem's beautiful creation. What about the fifth day? Wow. On the fifth day of Hashem's creation, Hashem created insects. There might be some insects flying around. Birds, I think there's some birds flying around. And maybe this huge big Leviathan, the big fish. SPS, some people say, okay, also known as the Medrash, that the Tzaddikim, the very righteous people, will be able to eat when we have Mashiach. Anyway, the big fish. So even the huge big fishes and the tiny fish, they all got created on the fifth day. What about the sixth day? Wow, that also happens to be the first day of Tishrei. On the sixth day of creation, all the animals are created, followed by man from the dust of the earth. The malachim, the angels, aren't too keen on the idea of man. Oh, why do we have to have people? Do we really need the people? Hashem, the malachim say, can't we just serve you and sing to you and we're magical? Can't you just have us? I really think, Hashem, do you really need the people? And Hashem says, of course I need the people. Malachim, can you do mitzvot? No, we're angels. We're very special people, so we don't do mitzvot. Oh, well, there you go then. Then I need my people. I need mummies and daddies and children. I need my people. And from my people, I'm also going to have my Jewish people who are going to keep my Torah and all the other people that will be on the earth. And it's very important that I have all my people. So even though the Malachim are not very keen on the people, Hashem has the people, and Hashem decides that Adam is the first man and he's put in the Garden of Eden. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? And on the 7th day of creation, we know that Hashem rested. Hashem rested, and that's our Shabbat. Can you see the candles? Can you see the chalot? Can you see the grape juice on Hashem's special 7th day of rest, which is our Shabbat? Yes, which is our day to rest, and also to daven, and also to remember that we're Hashem's special chosen people, and we have our beautiful kiddush, and we have our beautiful challah, and we have our beautiful things that we do, and we bench to Hashem, we thank Hashem for the yummy food. And when things get better and we don't have the yucky virus, then we can have more family and friends around. At the moment, we have to be very careful. Okay. So what else did Adam do? Well, Adam gives names to all the animals and he sees that they have mates. If you don't have a friend, you're very lonely, aren't you? So Hashem made sure that all the animals would have partners. Isn't that lovely? So that they could have more animals and more animals. That's very nice. So let's see. Now, you think of an animal and let's see if the animal that you think of is the animal I'm going to show you. I bet it won't be, but it doesn't matter because it's a really good game. So, what do you think my first animal is going to be? Well, I can tell you that it's in Australia, my first animal, and unfortunately when there was a lot of fires, a lot of the animals got hurt, but this one was fine. He's my koala bear, and Adam gave him the name koala bear. In Hebrew, dubi koala. Okay, my koala bear. Right, think of another animal. You wouldn't really want to get too close to this animal. I think you should keep your distance, safe distance from this animal. This animal is a crocodile. And a crocodile in Hebrew, tanin, a crocodile. Now, if you think my Israeli accent isn't good, then of course you can check and maybe pronounce it a bit better than me. This animal, well, it's a special type of bird actually. And so I've included birds, even though they were made a different day, but I've included them so that we know the names of the animals and the birds. This one has got a very, very big beak. And it's also a type of a crossing for pedestrians. Pedestrians, 4 syllables. Toucan. Okay, what else? Think of another animal. Oh, I love this animal. It looks really sweet, and I've seen this animal in London Zoo, and they're very funny. In fact, there's a film where the animals are actually sort of a funny film where they're quite famous. Meerkats. Yarkats, surikata, yarkats, meerkats. Now, this particular bird is quite clever because sometimes it's able to copy what you're saying. So if you say, pretty boy, it'll go, pretty boy. What bird could do that? Do you know? Of course, parrot, tuki. Adam's very busy naming all the animals. Okay. Right, you also want to keep your distance from this animal. And there was a very, very, very famous poet, somebody who wrote, I write things as well, but this was a very famous, very, very good poet who also painted and also wrote, and he did a very famous poem about this animal. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night. Here's the tiger. Namer, tiger. What else? Well, they say this animal is actually quite intelligent, and I don't know which zoo I've seen it in recently. There are lots of other animals like it. Is it a gorilla? No. Is it a monkey? Kind of. Orangutan, orangutan, orangutan. There you go. This is a baby animal from the cat family, but it's going to grow very, very, very big. So you really don't want to play with this animal when it gets bigger. Gur aryeh, a lion cub. There you go. Right, what else? Oh, this is another very interesting bird. Now this bird, because Chloe is learning to be a fabulous actress, and she's in a special drama school called Italia Conti. And when the weather was nice and you had to book it, because you have to be very careful with the virus, you can't just go to the zoo at London Zoo. But Chloe had to go to the zoo because she chose to be a certain animal, and she chose to be a flamingo. So we spent hours on the bench near the flamingo, but I'm not going to show you a flamingo. Guess which bird enjoyed being by the flamingos? Only 2 of them, and there were lots of flamingos, but only 2 of these birds. They're big, they're white, they've got a very big beak. Saknai, the pelican. The pelican is friends with the flamingo. In the zoo, they were very happy to be together. The pelicans weren't worried about the flamingo, and the flamingo wasn't worried about the pelican. Unfortunately, this animal is no longer in London Zoo. And some people, when they write newspaper articles, don't check first because they say that they're not in the zoo anymore. It's a huge animal. I don't know if you know this song. Nellie the packed her trunk and said goodbye to the circus. What could that be? That big animal. Elephant. Pill. Okay, another animal. This animal usually has 1 hump, 2 humps, stores its water in its hump, can go without water for quite a while, and it lives in the desert. I think we do have them in London Zoo. Gamal, the camel. Oh, I didn't show it to you properly. Gamal, the camel. I really love the camel. Right, this animal has a horn. Well, it should have a horn. It's got a very big horn in the middle of its face. And some people that are very nasty, called poachers, sometimes they try and pinch horns from these animals, especially from the elephant, which is very mean. That's their tusk. It's very nasty and very mean. You should never, ever, 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 ever do anything to hurt an animal, ever. So what animal am I thinking that's got a horn sort of in the middle of its face? Rhinoceros. Karnat. Rhinoceros. Okay. This animal is kosher, but we don't eat it. It's kosher, we don't eat it. It's very, very tall. It's taller than Chloe, so that's very tall. Much, much taller than Chloe. It's humongous. It's so tall. What animal could that be? The giraffe. Giraffe. I love the giraffe. Okay, another animal. Now this animal is not the same at all, but it's kind of similar to the rhinoceros for me. They're not the same family, but can you think of something that's sort of big like the rhinoceros, but it's not a rhinoceros? Hippopotamus. Hippopotam. Right. This animal has stripes. It's not the tiger. It's got stripes. And stripes, I think, are kind of black and white. Maybe some of the shades are a bit different to black and white, but to me they look black and white. Do you know what animal it is? It's not a kosher animal. Zebra. The zebra. I love these. They're so funny. If you see them in the zoo, they're always playing games and enjoying themselves and jumping from branch to branch and climbing. They're very good climbers. Spider monkey, akavish kuf, kuf akavish, spider monkey. This is a type of bear, black and white, probably most famously in China. I haven't seen this bear in a long while actually at a zoo. Panda, the panda bear. Okay, this is the daddy of that cub that we saw before. Do you remember the animal that we saw before? That was a cub, gourarier. This one is the daddy. That's the daddy lion because he's got the mane. The mummy lion doesn't have the mane. At least I hope that's right. Oh yeah. And my last one, just another monkey, because I love them so much. Cough, I could watch monkeys all day long. I really enjoy seeing them. Okay, so we know that Adam gave the names to all the creatures and he makes sure that they all have mates, they've all got partners. And Adam looks around and he sees that everybody's got a partner. I haven't got a partner. I don't have a friend. Please, Hashem, can I have a friend? So Hashem puts Adam to sleep. Go to sleep. And then he takes something from Adam and creates a partner. Adam's partner is called Chava. And Adam is put in Gan Eden with Chava and a very interesting animal called the snake. SPS, some people say okay, also known as the Midrash at that point. Well, actually in the Torah, that snake had legs. So it was able to be upright and walk. Incredible. One tree in the Garden of Eden, stop, don't touch it. The tree of knowledge. Don't eat from the tree of knowledge. One rule, don't eat from the tree of knowledge. How many times have Mummy and Daddy said to us, don't touch that? I remember when I was little, my mummy had a baby, my sister. And in those days, I don't know if you can still have them, they had lovely things that you could put on in a baby's cot where a baby sleeps. And it's sort of a mobile, I think it's called. And sometimes they can go round, it can look very pretty. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. What happens if you touch something you're not supposed to touch? Well, it could break or you could get into trouble. I think Adam and Chava are going to get into trouble. In those days, the snake could talk and walk. Chava gets a little bit confused. Hey, Chava, the snake says to her. He didn't really say it like that, but we're going to do it like that for this story. Hey, Chava, how are you doing? Are you enjoying this beautiful garden? Oh, yes, thank you very much, Mr. Snake. It's a lovely garden. I'm having a wonderful time. Chava then says, yeah, it's great, but we're not even allowed to touch the tree. Now, the rule was, don't eat from the tree of knowledge. But Chava says we can't even touch it. And the snake says, guess what? Nothing will happen to you if you touch that tree. It'll be fine. Come on, Chava, touch the tree. Oh, no, I don't think so. I don't. Ah, she touched the tree. Ooh. Okay, nothing's happened, the snake said. Look, it's all okay. See? Why don't you have a little bit of a nibble of that delicious fruit of the tree of knowledge? Come on, Chava, enjoy yourself. You're clever. You can do whatever you want. When our mummies and daddies and Hashem tell us not to do certain things, they do it for our best interest, that we mustn't do it and we must listen to our mummies and daddies and Hashem and the rules. And this rule was, don't eat from the fruit of the tree of knowledge. And Chava ate. And then she got Adam to eat as well. Oh dear. Oh my goodness. Oh no. What happens when we do something that's very naughty? Well, our mummies or our daddies or our teachers or Hashem have to show us that we have disobeyed, we've not listened to the instructions, we've not listened to the rules, we've not listened, and we've been naughty. And when we're naughty, our teachers don't enjoy it. They're very good teachers, they don't enjoy it. They don't want to see somebody unhappy, but we have to teach children if they do something wrong. There is a punishment, consequences. If you do something and you didn't listen, then you're going to have to learn. And Hashem said, right, Adam, from now on, you're going to have to work very hard, and Chava, as a lady, at certain times you're going to have tummy ache, maybe even when you have a baby. And I can tell you that yes, you can have tummy ache, but it's lovely having a wonderful baby. So it's well worth it. But still, it's not pleasant to have a tummy ache. So there you go. So that was the punishment for not listening to Hashem. And one more punishment. Adam and Eve, Adam and Chava, they can't live anymore in that beautiful Gan Eden. They are banished from Gan Eden, from that wonderful garden. How can it all have gone so wrong? How did it all go so wrong? The answer is, listen to mummies and daddies and do what they say. Listen to mummies and daddies and do what they say. Listen to mummies and daddies and don't forget to pray. Then they will be happy. So we've learnt so much in this Parasha. We've learnt about the world being created in 6 days, and on the 7th day Hashem rested. We've learnt that Hashem was the most amazing architect. He built the world. We learnt that Adam was all by himself and he got a partner, maybe from a spare rib, maybe not. We've got the naughty things that the snake did, that it used to have arms and legs and could talk, lost that. Also has to lose its skin. And a lot of people are a bit scared of the snake. And Adam and Chava realise that they've made a mistake and they have to leave the beautiful Garden of Eden. And then there are also Cain and Hevel. Now, Cain is very good with his crops, and Hevel is a type of farmer. And Hashem says, I'd like a present, please. And Cain picks flaxseed. I've actually got flaxseed. It's really good to have it for your tummy. It's very good. But it's not the best present to give Hashem. And Hevel, who's a farmer, he gives Hashem his best lambs. So Hashem accepts the present from Hevel and not the present from Cain. And Cain gets very upset that he didn't get chosen. We can't always get chosen for everything, children. If we don't get chosen, it still means we're wonderful and we can shine some other way. We can always shine. So we can't always get chosen for everything, but it doesn't mean that we're not special, and it doesn't mean we're not important. But Cain decided to get very cross and hurt his brother Hevel. Very, very naughty. That happened in this week's Parasha as well. Right. How about the generations? So there's Adam. And Adam lives to be 930. This was the olden days where we do the, let's see if we can do it without rolling back the time, and one more, rolling back the time, and one more, rolling back the time, and thinking and thinking and thinking. This was a long time ago when people lived much, much longer than they do today. Adam, he's perfect. Then he gets a bit naughty. Next generation, Shase. He's quite okay, but he's surrounded by some of Cain's family. They're not so good. Enosh, third generation. They come up with the really silly idea of worshipping the sun, the moon, and the stars. Okay, not the best move. It's called idol worship. Can we do idol worship? No, we can't. Okay, so I'm going to get a flood from that. Fourth generation, Canaan, supposedly wise and mighty leader, tries to put his generation on the right path, doesn't quite work. Mahalel, he lives for 895 years. Yered, another tzaddik, another good person surrounded by bad people. Chanoch separates himself from the rest of the world, and he does tefillah, and he likes to be Eved Hashem, servant of Hashem. Supposed to be one of the few people who enter Gan Eden or Olam Haba alive. Mesushelach, I think the oldest person, 969. Lemech, not the person that hurts Cain in the end. Worldwide famine in his time. But the people aren't being very good. Mankind is not working out very well. People are behaving very badly. And then came Noah. Finally, Hashem decides that the people of the world are too corrupt, they're too bent, they're too naughty to fix. Only Noah and his family deserve to live. Only Noah. Hashem declares that he will bring a flood and wipe out mankind. Only Noah and only his family will survive. Do you want to find out about that? Let's hope we can do the video next week for Noah. And in the meanwhile, talk to your mummies and daddies about everything you've learned in Bereshit. See you soon. Stay safe. Be careful. Listen to mummies and daddies. Enjoy your school. And if you come to shul, have a wonderful time. Bye.